Next item on the agenda is the discussion on the redesignation of the Regional Institutional Strategic Enterprise Zone. That's the RISE zone. Ms. Laura Soper, Director of Business Development from the City of Salisbury. Ms. Soper, you've been very patient. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you
Good.
very much, Council, for your time today. The city is looking at the redesignation of their RISE zone. The RISE zone is a Department of Commerce designation that allows qualified institutions, in this case Salisbury University and governments, City of Salisbury, to tap into some financial incentives to attract businesses and create jobs. In 2018, that was when we first designated the RISE zone, and at that time we designated a 130-acre zone, but the program was pretty different. I think within the last year, Department of Commerce completely overhauled all that legislation. So when we're looking at this redesignation, the incentives we're looking at could be tapping into a rental assistance program and a state income credit for qualified, I think, biotechnology and technology companies with the state of Maryland. The zone we're looking to redesignate is the stretch of Route 13 from Salisbury University to downtown, and we'd be looking to add the downtown, so a total of 191 acres. And we're specifically targeting that rental assistance program. Department of Commerce will capitalize whatever funds we have with 3 times that. So I don't see it being a huge pot of money, but it was an opportunity that we were looking at. So I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Can you give us an overview again of how the program works?
So it's changed. The new program, you apply to have the institution qualified, which we did in 2018. That was Salisbury University. They send in the application, and once they get approved, then we can apply to designate the zone. The program was similar to Enterprise Zone. They overhauled it, so the new program, you can apply to design a rental assistance program targeting sectors, job creation, what types of businesses you'd like to look at. So that's kind of what we're looking at. So that is still to be designed. I think we're probably looking at smaller businesses and targeting some of the quality of life, what I call shops, restaurants, attractions for that area. We're open to feedback on that. I think step 1 is redesignating the zone, and then we would look at the application to apply for that rental assistance funding.
So is this one of these? So is this one of these incidences where if you're on one side of the street, you could get a tax break, and if you're on the other side of the street, you might not get it?
It does. It is geographic in nature, so yes, it could be. And the key for the RISE zone is it's supposed to connect to the qualified institution. So that's why you see that stretch along Route 13 and the downtown corridor.
What do you mean connect to the qualified
It should be in a close nexus to Salisbury University.
It should be what now?
A close nexus, so it should be very nearby to Salisbury
But
University.
you're extending it out from Salisbury University.
Yes,
So
yeah.
it's not going to be close.
It touches, it abuts Salisbury University. So that was,
The zone does, but the business doesn't, correct?
Yeah.
what do you mean, the
Well,
business does not have to directly abut Salisbury University, but it has to be in, the zone has to kind of show that congruency between Salisbury University and where the zone lies.
it has to show what now? I'm sorry.
It has to be nearby Salisbury University. It has to touch Salisbury University.
You're talking about touching it as far as being a type of business?
Geographically.
Or
Just
geographically?
The zone geographically has to touch
Right.
Salisbury University,
Yeah,
yes.
but you're saying it needs to be close to it, but you're extending the zone.
I think she's like saying for an annexation, for example, you can't just annex any property. It actually
Right,
has to
yeah.
the city.
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of physical mode is that? What kind of cost is that going to be to the county as far as a tax abatement or whatever?
There's no, the state income is the one that I'm not sure about, that is very targeted towards technology and biotechnology, and they have to be qualified. So I'm assuming there's some sort of qualification process that they have to go through the state of Maryland with. I don't see that being a big sector in Salisbury, and they would file that separately on their state income taxes, so I think the impact would be nominal on that. The rental assistance program would be run through city funding and Department of Commerce funding. There is no tax abatement on that end.
I have a question.
Sure.
Who gets the rental assistance?
That is
Because
dependent.
you have your Salisbury University in here, and as a qualified asset to our community, but if they're going to help small businesses, how is that going to help? So I don't understand why Salisbury University is part of this.
I think it's how the Department of Commerce designed the program. I think they see the university as beacons of learning and growth opportunities, so you see a lot of business growth in those areas. The businesses that get the rental assistance could be, we tailor design that program, so I'm very open to feedback on what sorts of businesses, but I was eyeing probably like restaurants, retail, and attractions.
Are you saying Salisbury University is going to be the person that handles the funding? I don't understand why Salisbury University is part of this at all.
I'm not sure either. The program requires the qualified institution, so it was an opportunity that we saw, and Salisbury University, I think, was supportive because they want to see that area around the college grow. They want it to be attractive to students. We want to keep students here, so.
So I can support this if I see that the money would be going to, the rental system going to the small businesses that are located in that area.
Yes.
Now, when I saw Salisbury University, it made me rental assistance. I didn't think they need rental assistance. So I think that, and I envision downtown, I know you all got another vision of being a quaint downtown, because when I was on city council, the lighting that's downtown,
Yeah.
it always reminded me of a town in Pennsylvania. But this big building that you have now, shattering everything, is taking the quaintness. So pass that on to Jack and them.
Uh-huh.
Takes the quaintness out of downtown if you want shops
Yeah.
and things like that. But as long as you say that it's going toward small businesses and retail and things like that, I have no problem with it.
That is my vision.
I was just saw that we're Salisbury University and rental assistance, and I was getting confused about
I can
that.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of, good job.
I'm looking at this new addition. This looks almost like the Horizon Zone, pretty much doctored after
Oh.
that.
It's not doctored after. I think it's the historic district, so whatever that district was is what I replicated for that. So it is a similar, I think Horizon goes a little bit up on the north prong as well, the riverfront redevelopment, so this is just downtown.
Existing. And this is the addition.
What you're talking about now is just an addition to the existing,
Touches.
to
Yes.
create an addition for the downtown area.
Yes,
All the way
yeah.
here.
It's already there. Clear.
Hang on, guys.
I thought you read this.
How many people have applied for this in the current zone?
So that was under the previous statute, which had the
Yeah.
property credits and the state income credits. It was very similar to enterprise zone. And without getting too deep into it, the nuance that we went after was there was a piece of the statute that allowed us to create a TIF to be used to fund private infrastructure. So we mirrored the enterprise zone, but in most cases, folks would go after enterprise zone. But for that private investment TIF, we were looking at the property owned by the hospital where the old Daily Times was for their medical education facility. But they scrapped that legislation completely. So that never came to fruition. So in most cases, when someone approached me for Rise Zone, I would just say, Enterprise zone is very similar. The benefits are longer lasting, and then they reimburse the city and county 50% on that property tax credit. So in most cases, I just encourage them to go after enterprise zone.
So you're reconfiguring the current RISE zone area in addition to adding a new one?
It is a redesignation of the existing zone, adding downtown, and the State Department of Commerce completely changed the program. So it's not the property credit or the income credit that previously existed.
I was curious as to why it appears, and I'm not quite sure how anything in this area comes anywhere near qualifying, unless I'm missing it, but it says it's a qualified Maryland biotechnology company, a QMBC, or a qualified Maryland technology company, QMTC. I haven't seen where that's what I'm witnessing downtown as far as what's being,
Yeah, and I haven't either, and that's,
That shouldn't even be.
it is an incentive that the program has both, but we're more interested in the rental assistance program.
And that's, I think, similar to what Joe said. What does that mean? Does that mean that people who own buildings downtown on Main Street, they will get, if they lease that building, the individuals who are leasing that building will receive a tax break?
They could apply to receive one. The Department of Commerce has certain constraints on that program. I think you can only get it for 3 years, and you cannot have been in business for more than 7. But then we design our own program, and we have our own constraints on it. So we can say what types of businesses, how many employees we want to target, and what that structure looks like. So the state has some hard and fast guidelines that we have to follow, but then we would design what we're looking for.
It has to be within this realm of biotechnology or, no?
Nope.
I thought that's what we had.
The two credits are separate. So the rental assistance can be earmarked towards anyone, and then the state income, that is.
Rental assistance towards business only, or does it also include residential?
I would say business only. I think that's what the statute says, is that it can only go towards businesses. But I can double check that.
So, okay, obviously it goes to that, but like, let's just say I own a business there. I don't, but how would I qualify for it?
You would apply, and
What would be what would be the stipulations, or what would make me qualify?
I think that depends on the design of the program and who the city wants to attract, but there would be an application process, and you'd have to submit documentation, paperwork, and we would vet that process along the way, similar to enterprise zone, so.
Okay.
I got a quick question. The proposed hotel, would that be in the RISE?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I'm hoping that they wouldn't get part of this, because apparently they have money to build a hotel.
yeah, again,
And what's concerning me, and I think other people, is that the city of Salisbury has given away a lot of property for nothing. And that concerns me, because if I was on the city council, I would have voted no.
yeah.
You have this property that says for 1 million, whatever the property was, and you sold it for nothing. So I wouldn't want to see a business like that get any tax breaks. You need to stop doing it, because you increase the residence taxes, you can pass that on, double digit, and give these rich people tax credit.
Thank you.
So I don't understand, I can't figure that, and the regular people out here do not understand that why is my taxes going up and the water bill's going up, and then they see these people building these big buildings getting a tax break
Figured it out.
when nobody else is getting a tax break, because you want people to come downtown. You need to move out of downtown and do some other things in other parts of the city.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a clutter. That's what's going to happen eventually. It's going to be a clutter. And I look at the downtown almost being destroyed with a whole lot of people. And I don't support anything that's going to give the rich developers a tax break. I cannot do it, and I won't do it.
Yeah, I can certainly pass that along. And again, this program is designed for, I would say, for smaller businesses, under 5 employees. So that is it. I don't see it going towards the hotel, but I will pass along your comments to city administration.
When will you get clarity on what the stipulations are for qualifying for this?
So the first step would be redesignating the zone, and then we would design the program around it. So we can't apply for the rental assistance funding until we redesignate the zone.
So you say you don't think it would go for the new hotel that's supposed to come down along the river? Would they be willing to move the lines to exclude that area? I don't think they would be.
It's lot
Well,
10.
I would say if there's a small shop in the hotel at the bottom, then, again,
You know, Shaney, thank you for bringing that up. And I'm not fussing at you, I just want to vent a little bit. Millions of dollars in taxes have been given away to the Ross building. Water and sewer fees has been waived for the Ross building. The Horizon Zone, who knows what that's going to bring up, in the next few years. The city of Salisbury has raised taxes. The city of Salisbury has raised water and sewer. You can't ride down the street without being worried about hitting somebody on a scooter. You go to a restaurant, or a fast food restaurant, they want to charge you 10 cents a bag. And now you're coming to us and saying you want to give more tax breaks to developers downtown.
it's not for the
Well,
developers.
small businesses.
Yeah.
Developers will build it for small businesses.
Yeah.
And this person can build something here and get a tax break, but across the street, this person can't. It's time for fairness.
Yeah, I very much appreciate your concerns, and I will bring them to city administration and encourage you to speak.
We're watching.
I encourage you to speak with city administration as well. Again, the way that I would design this program would not be for large developers, it would be for small businesses that I have spoken to very frequently recently and who are struggling, so
Large
that,
developer that rents a small shop to a restaurant.
not to the developer, thank you.
I'll just, obviously, currently all of this is in my district, and the proposed area would be just outside. I understand that the university, in speaking with them, they've been very, they want to obviously connect the investments that they've made in downtown Salisbury to the university itself. I would encourage, as you go back and speak with the city, that we do have it, as Mr. Holloway was saying, a narrow program, if anything.
And that is,
And then, and obviously, there's a whole lot. I understand this is a state program that you put down that you can then adopt to it. And the word Mr. Holloway used was fairness. Completely agree there too, because you want to be able to, you want to have, the most opportunity for the most amount of folks.
Yeah.
But I understand, of course, you're trying to be targeted about this also. We do want to continue to see businesses be stable, that connects the university in the downtown. And that's an area that I think, as anyone here knows, it's an area that's seen had a lot of troubles in the past and it's continued to evolve and want to continue to evolve in the right way. So if, as it goes forward, it'd be nice to be able to see a better program laid out from the city that could be targeted to these small businesses. If James wants to move in and put his business out of there, then he should be able to do it. But to be able to and then to have the partnerships. Obviously, the university is there to get folks trained up in a lot of different areas. So it'd be nice to be able to have more.
and I'll throw it out there. I'm very open to coming in front of county council again before we apply for that rental assistance funding, to just kind of give an overview of the program and what businesses we're targeting, if that would make anyone more comfortable. I want to be as transparent as possible. This is not intended for large-scale development, but it is to help those small business owners, so.
Is it to help the small business owners that need to move in and rent, or is it to help the small business owners who own the property and want to rent the property?
It is for small business owners that are renting, so it could be for a new business as an attraction tool for small business growth, or it could be a retention piece, so.
If you could come back with, because right now, I think what you've done, you've created, a basic resolution for us, but I think we might like a little bit more in-depth feel for exactly
Yeah.
whether it's worth the squeeze to get into that. And there's also some really huge concerns sometimes, I think similar to what Joe suggested, is that it's one thing to do the subsidies, et cetera, but you want to make sure that you're not doing them at the expense of
Yeah.
of the person who is across the street.
Yeah.
And I know, because I've been through the whole Verizon thing as well with Joe, and still there. But I do really, my concern has always been oversaturating the market so that it impacts the businesses next door. That's been a concern of mine all along. And I'm really concerned about what might be happening downtown as far as
Yeah.
allowing the natural process to
Yeah.
work its way through.
Yeah, I would say there's definitely not an oversaturation of some of these business types, so I think there's definitely room for growth there. And I think we could definitely talk about the design of that program and where we're targeting it, so I'm very happy to
That'd be great.
discuss that.
Okay, yeah, if you have more developed information, like any type of brochures or pamphlets, anything that would help elaborate.
Yeah, I don't at this time, and I'll also address kind of the constraints of the geographic area, because when we apply for some of these programs, the state usually likes to see less is more, a very targeted approach. So there are days when I would also love to have every bit of the city included, but unfortunately, we do have to make those tough decisions and where those geographic boundaries lie, so.
Another question I have for you is, why are you suggesting a rental assistance program? Why wouldn't we continue with what we've always used before, which is the enterprise zone?
We still have the enterprise zone.
Why wouldn't that be? Why wouldn't that suffice? Why do we go to another level? Where do we come up with the rental assistant aspect of it?
That was something that Department of Commerce started. When they overhauled the program, I literally got a call saying, hey, this program is completely changed. Have you heard about the rental assistance program? So it's an opportunity for us to tap into. So that's why I was just looking at it.
And the QMBC and the QMTC,
Yeah.
that appears to me to be guidelines established by Commerce, but are you saying that we can work outside of that?
We can work outside of that for the rental assistance program. The state income, they must be QMBC or QMTC.
It doesn't affect our, does it, that's not going to affect the county financially, right? It's just going to be the city that's
Yep.
going to be taking this on,
Yep.
and we're just helping them allow it.
Support the
Yes.
program.
Okay.
City
I know.
eventually goes out into the county, James.
Yeah. I'm just
Anyway.
trying to make sure I understood
Well,
that.
it's an income tax
So
credit.
did I understand what he just
An
said?
income tax credit would
Well,
affect
the
the
lease.
county.
It would affect the county. Okay, I apologize. So there may be a small trickle, but I don't,
Minimal.
minimal, I think minimal. I could certainly reach out to your finance office to see what that impact is from QMTCs and QMBCs. I would venture to guess it's not very high.
I don't
That
think
means-
there's- What were you going to say, Shane?
That nailed it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
So are there next steps? Because I can certainly bring back some of that information on the design.
I think another work order would be in line, and we'll talk to Mrs. Hurley about that, and she can contact you.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Get a motion to adjourn from open work session to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Favor?
Whatever.
We're reconvening as the Wicomico County Council in legislative session for legislative session number 2023-16, August 15th, 2023. First item on the agenda is resolution number 112-2023. Entertain a motion to approve resolution 112-2023.
So moved.
Second. Second. And discussion. This resolution is in reference to engaging independent legal counsel for the public's interest, and so that there's not any confusion whatsoever. The council is not hiring additional legal counsel. Mr. Mitchell, the council's attorney, for some period of time now, called and informed us that he will be on extended medical leave. and recommended that we hire a replacement for him as soon as possible for a council attorney, and that's exactly what we're doing. We wish Mr. Mitchell well, but for the interim, we do have to have some type of representation as a council. So again, the council's not hiring new or additional legal counsel, as it's been suggested or inferred. We're just simply considering a new counselor for the county council as a whole, and that's the purpose for this resolution today. So this is what we have in place before us right now, is resolution number 112, 2023. Any discussion?
Yeah, Council President, I'd like to amend this resolution 112, 2023 to insert the name Robert A. Benson and Laws, Inslee and Benson, PA, as the independent legal counsel on various matters on an as-needed basis. And the next paragraph, be it therefore be resolved by the County Council of Wicomico County, Maryland, pursuant Section 304C of the Wicomico County Charter, that Robert A. Benson and Laws, Inslee and Benson, PA, is hereby appointed independent legal counsel. So I'd like to make that amendment.
Motion, there's an amendment on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment as read, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Amendment passes. Any other further discussion?
Yeah, I would just like to say that I think Mr. Benson is a good man. He seems to be a straight shooter. I think though that I would be in support of just having Mr. Wilbur's firm at the time being until Mr. Andy Mitchell is able to come back, or unless we need Mr. Benson for further legal assistance with the up-and-coming case. But other than that, I see that we could probably stick with our county attorneys, since we have a couple of them right now. But that's my stance.
Any other comments?
I will say that we still use Paul Wilbur as our county attorney as far as most of our resolutions and legislation goes. He draws that up and sends it over. Mr. Benson and his firm is going to be representing the council in their deliberations and questions we have to them. So,
And it's not as if bringing in Mr. Benson is going to be costing the taxpayers any money, because we're either going to be paying Mr. Wilbur or we're going to be paying Mr. Benson.
Right. So I was just saying we could just keep it all the same. I mean,
I appreciate that.
yep.
Any other comments?
Plus the cost is the same.
Right. It might even be cheaper.
I don't know.
Sure.
I know this is the same as Mr. Mitchell's fee, so that's the same.
I think that was the same as Mr. Wilbur's, I believe.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of Resolution 112, 2023, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Excuse me?
No. Thank you.
You're opposed.
Opposed.
Okay. Resolution number 112, 2023 passes by a vote of 6-1. Thank you.
Adjourn.
What are you going to say there? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, we got a motion. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.